I'll tell you what's killing Originality. It's two things. Number one, producers that are still finding their sound are getting big placements. You're hearing music from people that are still finding their sound, which means they're not original. Reason number two is I was actually the first producer signed to Empire Publishing, and I was with Ghazi. He was just like, yo, Ill, I want you to move to San Francisco. I want you to run my A&R department on the publishing side. It was like, yo, come to the studio. I'm with Cole. He just recorded to your song. It was crazy because I was like emotional about the song. And then I, in real time, realized that like I have a song with J. Cole. I always talk about, instead of looking up and shooting for the big guys, it's like look to your left and look to your right.
Yo, welcome to another episode of the Larry Ohh Show. Got my co-host to the left of me, as always.
What's going on, y'all? It's John Phelps.
I'm Larry Ohh. It's a music producer podcast where we talk about everything FL and music producer related. Today's guest is an absolute certified legend. He shaped the sound of modern hip-hop, produced platinum records, built a movement with drum kits and mentorship, and just took on a major role as Senior VP A&R of publishing at Empire Records. 20 plus years in the game, still pushing the culture forward. Please welcome Illmind. Welcome.
Yeah.
Thank you guys so much, man, for real. It's been a long time coming. I've always, I've been following you guys for forever, and I love the podcast, so it's an honor to be here, man, for real.
Yo, thank you so much, man. I know it has been a long time coming. We've never crossed paths in person, but online and social media for years now, I think. Almost maybe at one point. I was trying to get to one of those, the Pass the Aux sessions.
Yeah, I popped out to one of those.
Did you?
In New York once with D-Valor, actually.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow.
Oh, okay, yeah, that was probably before pandemic, I want to say.
Yeah, oh yeah.
We were doing that, those sessions like every month. The New York ones were always crazy.
I mean, the big news, bro. Congratulations, first of all. Senior VP A&R at Empire Publishing. Crazy, bro. How did all that come about? Like, I know this has obviously been in the works for a long time. Stuff like that just doesn't happen quick like that. So can you run us through the process of, how that came about?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it's, first of all, thank you. I'm still processing it myself because it was a big change from living, I'm from New York. I moved to Miami during pandemic. So I was there for 3-4 years, and now I'm out here in San Francisco. So it's like, it's been a lot of moving and a lot of big changes, but it was definitely a long time coming, man. So I'm sure, most of you guys that are watching probably know who Empire is or know of them, but they've now become one of the biggest, if not the biggest, considered independent music label that's also a distributor and a publisher as well. And so it's crazy. I've known the founder, Ghazi, for almost 20 years. So when I was doing a lot of underground shit in the 2000s, like 05, 06, 07, 08, I was working with like your Little Brothers and Boot Camp Click and Sean P, rest in peace, Sean Price. So all these underground things. And that was an interesting time in the music industry because CDs were still selling, but we were sort of in the beginning stages of entering digital distribution. So it was a lot of, the Napster thing kind of happened, and then MySpace became big. And so you had these companies that were realizing that like stuff is going digital. So there was this company called Audible Treats based here in San Francisco that Ghazi was actually working for. And I remember that company used to distribute some of these like random underground records that I would produce. And then I remember in 2009 or 2010, Ghazi ended up leaving that company and started Empire Distribution. And in those beginning stages where it was him, and then like, it was literally like a garage of people starting a company. So it was him, my current manager named Jonathan Master, who ended up leaving Empire around 2015, but he was there in the beginning of when Empire started. And then Vinny Kumar, who is EVP of Empire Publishing and also my attorney, but he was also there in the beginning of Empire when they started. So, I've had a long history with them, and I ended up signing a publishing deal with Cobalt in 2015 and the guy that signed me over there was this guy named Al Butters. He was like the president of Cobalt at the time. So I signed a publishing deal in 2015 with Cobalt, and it was Cobalt/Empire. So Empire didn't have a publishing company yet. So fast forward to around 2019, Al Butters ended up leaving Cobalt to go over to Empire to start Empire Publishing with Vinny Kumar, and they were able to get my catalog from Cobalt and bring it over to Empire fully. So then I've just been signed on the publishing side as a producer to Empire since 2019, 2020. So that I was actually the first producer signed to Empire Publishing, and then just from doing all the work with them and just like helping out where I could and just being a producer. One day last year, randomly, I was in San Francisco to shoot some content with this artist, and I was with Ghazi, and Ghazi just like literally out of the blue, he was just like, "Yo, Ill, I want you to move to San Francisco. I want you to run my A&R department on the publishing side. Like, I want you to work with the artists and just be creative and be at the studio and just like help us out with all things creative." And in my mind, I said yes. I was like, yes, like this is like the craziest opportunity ever. And then, that was in June of last year. So it took quite a few months to negotiate and like figure the deal out. And we made
almost a year.
Yeah, almost a year. Yeah. So I ended up moving. We signed a deal, and I'm officially, SVP A&R over here. And I actually started on January 1st, but I didn't tell anyone. So I've just been kind of incognito for.
That's what's up, man. Congrats again. That's wild. I mean, and I said, like I just said, and it took almost a year, but really, it's like your whole career of building relationships, people you've known for the last, like you said, 15, 20 years, just being around everybody and not knowing exactly what's going to come out of a relationship at some point, but just having these good relationships. I mean, you've talked about that a lot, about relationship building and networking, and I've seen you
showing up.
Yeah, showing up and just having a good circle of people around you. I mean, maybe expand on that a little bit. How important is that? I mean, it sounds super important in the role that you just got, and obviously it's been super important in the fact that you've gotten all these placements over time. I feel like everything's like relationship based. And now a word from our sponsor. Engineers gives artists access to top quality audio engineers ready to get your song prepped for release. Book mixing and mastering engineers at affordable rates and pay how you prefer with their flexible payment options. And when your song is ready to ship, you can release it directly to your fans right from the site. Check out Engineers today. Now back to the Larry Ohh Show.
That's exactly what it is, man. Like I remember, so my manager, Jonathan, who's still my manager, he was, the third employee at Empire. I remember going to his wedding and like Ghazi was there. This was 2010, 15 years ago, when they had 3 artists, you know what I mean? And they were, they were distributing, they ended up doing Section 80 by Kendrick before anyone cared about who Kendrick was. They were putting out all the early stuff from all these guys throughout the years, and it could have not worked. You know what I mean? Like, it started off as this like distribution company locally in San Francisco, and just throughout, like, to your point, it took 5, 10, 15 years of like drawn out building, continuous building, and just kind of like knowing each other and building trust. I think that's the big thing. One of the biggest things that Ghazi told me when I first started here was like, he is very, very mindful and hands-on with like every single person that comes to Empire, whether you're like a junior A&R or an intern or an engineer or an SVP of whatever. It's like he wants to feel like he's hiring the best people and the right people for whatever it is we're building here. And so it took someone like me to prove myself and produce the music and fucking thug it out and like try stuff. And, all those years of me trying things on my own proved to him that I was the right person for this type of role here, and it's crazy that, we're closing in on 250 employees worldwide, A&Rs, sync departments, and just, it's a whole global operation. I mean, it's just as big, if not bigger, than some major labels at this point, So yeah, to your point, it's not one of those positions that just is given to like a random person. It was definitely like a 15-year, lead up to this, and I don't think he knew it. I don't think I knew it. I don't think any of us knew it. It just kind of fell into place, right place, right time, and right person.
Just the timing thing for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. I mean, I don't think there's a better way to look for somebody in a position, or like to go after a position. Not even that like you went after the position. It sounds like to me you just got to like you got it offered after a certain amount of time, but you were just like you said, timing is everything, and
Yeah.
the,
Exactly. Like I think I attracted it in this weird way because, the years of like doing the drum kits and then doing all the Web3 stuff I was doing, and then the meetups with Pastor Ox, and then, just all of the like weird shit that I do in the producer world. I think, that stuff really matters with this position I was given, because it's like I've always just tried to have this mindset of being like forward thinking in certain things, and like how can I solve problems. That's really my main thing, is how can we identify a problem specifically in the music community, and how can we leverage technology to solve those problems. And I feel like as music producers, that's what we do, right? Like we're just natural problem solvers, and it's definitely like you have to be a certain type of person to be willing to do that. And so you do that over enough years, and it's like, okay, like if you can solve this, then you can solve anything. You know what I mean?
you're just instantly prepared. Not instantly, but when the opportunity arises, you're prepared for it, for something like this. You're not. I'm sure like it's new territory for you, but you're prepared for it because of the years that you've put in doing all these different things leading up to the point. So
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, with that, like, what's your day-to-day look like now as Senior VP A&R of Empire?
Well, I'm in my office and I put my feet up.
I get up at 3 a.m.
and I'm on the phone, and my assistant is grabbing me breakfast every morning. No,
You get a good pocket spot.
I'm wearing skinny jeans and wearing $300 t-shirts now. That's what I do. It's really the same, man. Like I'm in the studio every day, so we have like an 8,000 square foot compound here, which is a studio, and then our office is actually in a whole separate building. But I'm in the studio, so I'm pretty much here. I drop my daughter off to school, and I'm in the studio. I'm the first one here. I get here at like 9 a.m. I literally walk in with the cleaners. Like it's me, the cleaners who clean the studio, and then the security guard.
That's what's up.
And then I have the whole place to myself. There's 5 rooms.
That's quiet. Yeah.
I have the whole place to myself until around noon. So around noon time is when different artists and different people in A&R start coming in, but I get to be a little selfish in the morning. But I'm here every day, man. I'm here every day. I go to the office once a week for like A&R meetings to like listen to demos and work with the A&R team and like figure out what we're doing and putting together, who's looking lists and all the typical stuff that you think happens. It all happens, but I try to stay as creative as possible with it and really just like I know what my skill set is. Right. Like I'm not like the guy who's like all of a sudden this like big A&R telling people what to do. It's like it's a team thing. It's bigger than me. It's we want to try to push music forward and like find the best talent and try to help as many people as possible through our system.
Has your focus like shifted as far as what you pay attention to? Like, are you looking at things like a little bit differently now that you have this position? You know what I mean?
Yeah. Good question. It's same from the sense of even before I was here at Empire. You guys are producers, so we're always listening to new shit. Like, oh, this kid is dope. Like, let me DM him and like tell him, yo, I got some vibes. Like, let's work. You know what I mean? I'm still doing that kind of stuff, except now it's from the approach of, wow, this person is dope. I want to work with them, but like maybe we can offer them a deal, right? Or like maybe there's like a distribution play, or let's run. We have a analytics team where we can have our eyes on an artist and we can run their numbers and see where they're at. and then like see if there's like an offer, or maybe they're a right fit for Empire. So, I'm kind of playing that role too of like bringing talent in, whether you're like an artist or a producer or a writer that we want to look at on the publishing side for like a potential like admin deal or a pub deal. So, my radar is like super open now. So instead of, oh, you're dope, here's some beats, it's, oh, you're dope, here's some beats, but like come join the team. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, you can offer many different things. And like you have a good eye and ear for things, because I mean, again, that's another reason why you have that position, not just, the type of person you are, but the talent that you have and the years of experience that you have and the ear that you have and the eye that you have for talent and other producers and, people that can make money, make the company money. You know what I mean? That's, good asset to have. I think, like when a lot of people don't understand kind of like what a publishing deal is or an admin deal. Can you explain a little bit about that? Like, so say if somebody comes along, you find them like, yo, we want to sign this producer or artist or songwriter. We're going to offer them a pub deal. If they don't know what it is, or if anybody listening and watching doesn't know what it is that exactly? What does that mean?
Yeah, so the easiest way I can put it is a publishing deal is kind of similar to like actors, where if you're an actor and you appear in a movie, you get like a SAG card, SAG. You get like this little card.
Screen Actors Guild.
Screen Actors Guild, right?
Yep.
So it's very similar from the sense of when you're with a publishing company, the whole idea is that the publishing company could help you administer your work, right? So you have your PRO, you have ASCAP or BMI or CSAC or whatever it is, but that's one PRO in one country, right? So like when you get your ASCAP statement or you get your BMI statement, like that's your publishing that you're collecting here in America, right? But you're not necessarily collecting all of your publishing or royalty over in Japan or over in Canada or over in Africa and all of these territories collect at different rates, right? So you're making money, but there's really no way for you to collect unless you are signed with a company that has the ability to collect all of your publishing and royalties globally, worldwide.
Right.
So a publishing company is there to take a percentage of commission in exchange for collecting all of your money that's owed to you, throughout the globe. And then there's other things too, like being with the publisher, depending on who it is, you gain access to working with other songwriters and producers on that publishing company. And then also there's certain publishing companies that strike deals with certain labels or sync departments where, you have a music supervisor looking for a specific kind of sound. They have deals with certain publishing companies where they're only taking music from certain publishing companies. So you would be given those types of opportunities. So it's just all the things, like all the typical things that you might think a publishing company is, they kind of are, but there's a lot, it gets deeper. There's like a lot more to it. You know what I mean? But I think the main thing is being with a publishing company that supports what you're doing, can put you in rooms, gets you the opportunities, and just being part of a family, you know what I mean? Like being part of a tribe where you guys are sharing similar, aspirations is a huge thing. Because, for a long time, and you guys know, you're producers, like if you're a music producer, most of our career is very lonely. We're like by ourselves in the room. We're figuring out how to make beats. We're looking for rappers. We're fucking registering our shit on ASCAP. We're marketing ourselves on Instagram. We're shooting YouTube videos. Like it's all me, right? You might have a lawyer or a manager, but like they're not really helping you with that shit, like on that to that level. So a lot of our journey as a producer is very much we're on our own. Like we don't have a team. So being part of a publishing company, you can feel like you're part of something, and you can share those opportunities together. So that's what I love about good publishing companies, and that's what we're trying to build here at Empire.
Yeah, it seems like, man, and like you said too, it opens up a new network for somebody that may not have it as well. I think that's a big part.
For sure.
Opportunities that you may never have had,
100%. Yep. And then there's a little bit of politics in there too. you know, for
course.
sure. Like, you know, and I'm making this up, I'm making names, but like, if there's like a huge artist that you want to produce for, sometimes they have deals where, okay, well, we want to make sure that like 50, 60, 70% of this album is produced and written by this company of publishers.
Right.
And so they would get priority opportunity for a big album like that, or a
That's
big artist
interesting.
like that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So you
sure.
do have those kind of like political kind of gate kept
Yeah.
sort of like deals, but really they're not even really purposefully gate kept. It's really just like,
This is our circle.
yeah, it's like
Yeah.
this person who runs this department
Yeah.
at this publishing company is really good friends with the A&R who A&Rs this artist, and they've worked together. They've made a lot of money together. There's a
Yeah.
lot of trust there. There's no headaches. There's no clearances. So they're going to keep going to the people they trust and the people that they've built relationships with
And the people they like.
and the people they like. You know what I mean? That's the one thing. Like, you know, when you hear producers, like, we complain a lot about like, oh, what the fuck? Like, I'm better than that person, or like I should get those opportunities. It's like, were you there when the fucking person was a intern 15
Right.
years ago?
Yep.
You know what I mean? Like, you might
Or
be
were
more.
you the intern? Were you an intern? You know, like,
Yeah.
like were you were you building, or you just like, you know, sitting on the sideline, or, you know, somewhere and just complaining all the time about opportunities that you never got? And people that complain, man, I mean, you've seen it all over the last, I mean, how long you been doing this now?
And 20 years.
20 years.
Yeah.
So in 20 years, I've been doing it 20 years too, but not at the level that you have. So but I mean, you've been online in the public eye for a long time. So you've seen it all. You've seen the comments. You've seen, you know, people yelling from the sidelines, complaining about things.
Yeah. Well,
It's
look,
just-
exactly. Like, this is the perfect example, and I always use this example. Boy Wonder, Drake, right? I remember clearly 2006, 2007, 2008. That was right around like the blog era. I don't know if you guys remember.
Oh yeah, I
Oh,
remember.
hell yeah.
Yep.
Two Dope Boys, Not Right, all that shit. Lit, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
Ill-
Drake,
Yep.
right? So this is let's call it 07, right? Drake was Aubrey Graham, an actor
Yep.
on Degrassi,
Degrassi.
who's trying to rap,
Yep.
right? In comes along this producer from Toronto as well, named Boy Wonder. And at the time, 2007, who was on top in 07, 08? Kanye,
Jay-Z.
Jay-Z,
Still maybe. Yep.
50 Cent,
Yep. G-Unit.
right? G-Unit, Ludacris, where, you know, all those guys.
Yep.
If you're a producer in that era, you want to work with those guys, right?
Yep.
Like this is what you're shooting for. Like, you want to get the
Yeah.
major placement with Jay-Z, with Kanye, with this person, with DMX, whoever it was at that time. T-Pain, can't forget T-Pain.
Oh yeah.
Jeezy, I mean, come on, there's so many.
Yep.
So Boy Wonder, right? He's like, okay, we're in Toronto. There's no motion here, right? But I don't give a fuck. I'm gonna work with this dude Drake
Yep.
from Canada.
He saw something, heard something.
He's dope. I'm gonna give him free beats, and I'm just gonna. He's dope as fuck, and I believe in him. I'm gonna work with him. And then Drake became Drake, and then Boy
Crazy.
Wonder became Boy Wonder. Everybody who's trying to chase a Drake placement, you weren't there when Drake was nobody, but Boy Wonder was. 40 was. T-Minus was. You know what I'm saying? Vinyls was. You know? 1985 was. So then who do you see on the production credits?
Still to this day.
All the people I named. You know what I mean? Because they stuck it out from the beginning. They believed in him. You know what I mean? So that entry point in which you start building with someone is the key to this, right? Like, I didn't know I'd be anywhere close to where I am now. But, you know, it took all those years, like, earlier to our point with Ghazi, he was just some random dude working at a fucking distribution company and was like, fuck this, I want to start my own, and started it in his garage with like 3 people. I just so happened to know those guys,
Yeah.
you know, and kept in touch with them, and like always partook in whatever it is they wanted me to do. It's like, yeah, hell yeah, fuck it, let's go. Like, we just kept building and building and building. And so that's what I would say, man. It's like having a radar for that stuff. Like, that's why in my past aux sessions or whatever, if you've been to one or you see me talk, it's like I always talk about, instead of looking up and shooting for the big guys, it's like look to your left and look to your right and start working with the people on your level. Because one day, that random person you meet, that person might start a fucking multi-billion-dollar company 10 years from now, and you might want to be a part of it. You might be able to bring value to that and come up together. So that's my number one piece of advice I would always say is just, man, pay attention to the people around you and see how you can bring value.
Right. 100%, man. And just like being a decent person goes a long way. It goes a long way because the industry is so small. Word gets around way faster than you think.
Yeah.
The real industry, not the internet industry, the industry like that you're in, that you've been in for a long time. It's so small. Yeah. So everybody knows everybody. So being a decent person could make or break everything for you.
That's actually everything, Larry. Yeah. That's everything. Like you can't force yourself to try to be a decent person. It's like you either are or you're not. It's it's like being humble. Like you can't try to be humble. Like if you're not humble, you're just not humble. If you try to be humble, you're still not. You're trying.
It'll come out somehow in some way.
Yeah, it's like me trying to be white. I'm not white. I'm Asian.
It ain't gonna happen.
You know what I mean? Like
you could not season your food all you want, and it's not, and it'll never happen.
I'm putting fucking adobo and fish sauce on my right.
There you go. Hell yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like I can't help it. So yeah, like and being a good person, bro. Oh my God, it's so important. Like one of the hardest lessons I learned over the years, and now kind of like now that I'm an executive being on the other side, like I'm starting to really understand it now. But for a long time, I realized that people you interact with that are like really successful, who can give you opportunities, those people will give opportunities to people that are a pleasure to be around.
Right.
Over talent. And I'll tell you why. Because people that hold high positions in the industry, they just want to get through their day. They want to solidify this deal. They had a fucking phone call for an hour with this person that's like $1 million deal, and then they got to go pick up their kid, and then they come back, and then they have lunch, and then they're putting out this fire, they're putting out this fire, they're solidifying this deal, and throughout that day of interacting with people, you never want to be the guy that sticks out and makes that person say, fuck, I hated that guy.
Right.
That was annoying. I'll never talk to that person again because that person ruined my day. And just from that little interaction, that can cost you your whole career. So to your point, it's extremely, extremely important to know how to move and not be overzealous and not piss the wrong people off. And again, it sounds semi fucked up because it's like you don't want to walk on eggshells. Like you want to be yourself. You know what I mean? You don't want to like, oh, Your Majesty, whatever you need. Like you don't want to, you know what I'm saying? Like you don't want to walk around like you fucking, you let anybody say whatever to you, but like,
or maybe like just like pay attention. Yeah, start to pay attention to that just as much as you pay attention to making a better rhythm section in your beat. Work on yourself, maybe like interacting with people a little bit better, or like just being aware of how an interaction went, or how a relationship's going, or just being aware of things. I think is
exactly
like self-aware. I think is a huge thing that almost like nobody talks about, especially in music. It's like you hear little bits here and there of it, but I think it's really important in everyday life, not just music. Just to, even if you're at the grocery store and somebody pulls across and steals your parking spot, or just like cuts you off, and it's all in your interaction. It's all how you respond to certain things. So I think like having a level head and just kind of being aware of your interactions and relationships is just gonna go a long, long way. But to segue into like we mentioned you've been doing this for 20 years. One question I had is in those 20 years now, how, because it's so hard for people to stay relevant for even a year or two, how have you and has your sound stayed relevant and current through 20 years of, I don't even know how many sound changes and vibe changes we've had in music.
Yeah.
How the hell do you stay relevant and current?
You know, it's just a lot of trying stuff. Like just being willing to explore and go with what I feel like feels good. You know, I think my creativity is only as good as my taste. And as long as my taste level is at a level of like, okay, I just made this song or I heard this song and I think it's great. As long as I don't lose my taste level, then I'll always be around. You know what I mean? And I think the minute that people start fading away is when their taste level starts to dissipate a little bit, because we all know good music, right? Like whether it's sexy drill or super underground boom bap shit. Like if you've been around long enough, you know what could resonate with you, right? And I think, you know, I'm not right all the time, but I think trusting my instinct has helped, and just trusting my taste level and just knowing like, okay, I know what feels good. I know what's like sonically pleasing to the ear. I know what a shitty song is compared to like a really good song. And again, I'm not right all the time, but I like to trust my own judgment on those things. And that's what has, you know, really allowed for me to still be here, you know? But it's that combined with trying new things. And like, it's like, you know, it's like being a chef. Like, you don't want to use the same 2, 3, 4 ingredients. Like you want to put a little curveball in there and try new stuff and try to innovate, you know? And I've always been one to be really passionate about like being forward thinking and trying to innovate certain stuff.
I mean, yeah, to me, like that's something that I've always noticed about you, about your forward thinking, and you're always, you know, the first to try these things out that I see months later, years later, everybody starts doing, you know, especially like you've talked about it a bunch in the past, but like the drum kits and certain AI things that you've been doing and dabbling with, the forward thinking there and just, but you've never lost like, you've never lost that mentality, even through all the things that you have tried and dabbled in. You've never lost that focus like on the actual like music and getting beats out there, getting songs released and placed, and the relationship building and whatnot. You've never like lost sight of that. So I think it's like super cool to see that as well, because like you said earlier too, producers, we have to do everything ourselves, especially like marketing wise, and you want to do stuff on problem solving. You want to market yourself on social media because that's like the thing you have to do now. But through all that stuff, like you've never lost focus like on the sound. It's always you're always innovating. You're always current, but you have your own sound, and you built these relationships up over the years. But like it's still about the music. People are using your beats because they're good. So it's.
Right. Thank you, man. Yes. Thank you. No, I really appreciate it, man. I mean, look, if you're really like obsessed with music the way that I am, and I'm sure a lot of you guys watching
that's
this
what it is. It's obsession, really.
When you're obsessed with something, you can't help but grow with it, because if something new happens in that field, you have no choice but to partake. Like, you're not going to ignore it. Like, if you're passionate about fucking beehives, and, you know, you've made some really sweet fucking honey and with some really great bees in your day, and then in comes some fucking new honey bee technology shit, you're not going to sit there and ignore it.
I'm pulling up.
Yeah. You're going to be right on top of it.
Be like, yo, dog, like, what you do over there? Like, yo, let me try some of that. You know what I mean? Like, how can I, okay, damn, that's crazy. I got to step my game up. Or, yo, maybe I could try this and help him do this. Or maybe I could try this over here. He just inspired me to do this. It's like, it's a never ending process of like paying attention and getting inspired and then applying that to whatever it is you're doing. And then you just kind of, you're always this. It's always more. You're never here complacent. Because once you're complacent, you're losing you're losing interest, you're losing taste, you're losing passion. And at that point, you need to have a conversation with yourself. Like, damn, maybe like deep down inside, I really don't really fuck with this shit. Like maybe I did 10 years ago when I was in high school or whatever, but like, I don't know, maybe my frequency isn't here anymore as a producer or as a A&R or as a whatever it is you're doing, right? So that's what it is. I think it's a lot of like, you got to kind of remind yourself of that too. It's like, does this still excite me? Because if it does, nothing can stop you. You know, as long as you're curious and excited and fearless enough to try shit, nobody can stop you. You're always going to be a step ahead of everyone else. But once you lose that little spark, it might be over, or it might be time to, you know, rethink your approach on certain things.
Well said, bro.
So much of that is in the like that mentality, you know what I mean? And I see a lot of like you're solution oriented in a world that so many people are like, they fixate on problems a lot of times. Like they'll be like just obsessed with like the torturous task of just like bleeding a stone, you know what I mean? As opposed to like watering something that is fruitful and you know, lucrative for you, man. So that goes in tandem with your, you know, desire to make music. And one thing is like, I was wondering is like, are you in the studio every morning? Like that's your 9 to 12 is you're cooking up before people get in and all that? Like you're showing up to do your regimen before people are even in the building?
Yeah, usually I come in really early and I do all this stuff. I get all the boring stuff out of the way.
Yeah.
I'm here, I make my coffee, I make phone calls, I follow up emails. Because, you know, 9 a.m. here on the West Coast is noon on the East Coast. Like, they're moving already. You know what I mean? Like, I'm getting people hitting me up at 7 a.m. and, like, I just woke up. You know, I'm still taking my daughter to school while they're in fucking meetings over there on the East Coast. So once I get here, I'm fully tapped in. I get back to people that I didn't get back to over the weekend, since Monday or previous day, and I'll get all the follow-ups out of the way. I'll probably do that for like an hour or two, and then I just immediately get to start cooking. Cooking new vibes. I'll check the schedule to see who's coming to the studio so I can prepare for like packs for certain people that are here. And then, you know, lately I've been really just tapped in with like the rest of our producers and writers on the publishing side to get them involved with like all the who's looking lists and like what we have going on here. So I'm currently implementing a couple solutions internally to help us more effectively get from point A to point B, meaning produce a beat, get a vocal top line on it, and get it directly in front of the artist. Instead of, you know, dilly-dallying like, hey, send it to the manager or send it to the engineer. So it's like everyone's in fucking limbo. It's too confusing. So I'm currently working on like a system internally that I can't talk about yet. That's going to help all of us here at Empire just
And you fill that role perfectly in your position as like a producer who's made like some ill beats and now in this position to like really be like, not that you weren't already, but like the plug for these situations to like streamline for sure.
But you're forward thinking, like you said.
Right.
You're not gonna be just an A&R. I think you're offering something way more. You're bringing something way more to the table.
Hybrid style.
Yeah, for sure. And that's really what I'm passionate about. Like there's an amazing A&R team here that's in place. Like Empire was here before I started and it'll be here after I'm gone. But while I'm here, I'm going to do everything in my power and in my brain to try to elevate whatever it is we're trying to elevate. And I want to do it through just identifying little micro issues and then leveraging technology to solve those little issues so that we can go micro and then you zoom out and it's like, oh, we solved the problem. Well, yeah, the problem was very small.
Yeah.
You just go from, you know, man, I can't talk about it, but we'll talk.
We'll see. We'll watch it happen in real time. Yeah, for sure. That's exciting, man.
Yeah, no, I'm hella excited about it, about everything. Yeah, but I get but to answer your question earlier, like my day is like thankfully mostly creative. Like I'm here, I'm a producer. This is what I do. This is what I'm good at. So I'm going to stick to what I'm good at and just continue along that way.
Awesome, man. There was I got a laundry list of placements that you've had, successful songs. I mean, I just want to maybe pick a couple of them and run through just like a quick story of maybe how those things came about relationship wise, and sending samples here and there, like just how those things came about. One that really obviously caught my eye, is you probably get this brought up to you a lot, is Love Yours by J. Cole. And I saw what really sparked it is you made a recent post, right? The other day, I think it was a breakdown of it on IG.
Yep.
How did that whole placement come about? Because I noticed that you're the only producer on that too. So now, again, at a time where collaboration was happening, but it seemed like at that time, for a certain period, at least like me growing up in that time period, and before that, it was like one producer produced it. It was like one producer on the credits. Like, so how did that song come about, and how did that relationship spark?
Yeah, so I'll take you from the very beginning. So that song was actually produced alongside Cardiac and Critical. So it was a collab. But to your point, pre 2014, so like 2013, 2012, 2011, we weren't collaborating together. It was all, to your point, produced by me or produced by this person. Like, you didn't have the sending packs to each other. So we were actually like really pretty early to that. We were kind of like one of the first group of producers to send stuff to each other. It was like Frank Dukes, Wanda, me, Cardiac Critical. Like, we had a little, like, the concept of sending samples to each other was brand new still. So anyway, so that came about through, so in 2010, I'll trace it back. 2010, I ended up producing an entire album with this underground rapper from Brooklyn, New York, named Sky Zoo. So Sky Zoo, right? Out. So Sky Zoo was like kind of like a local legend. We became really good friends. This was when I was living in Brooklyn, and we ended up doing a whole album together that I produced fully. And we put it out.
I think I just listened to that today, actually.
Okay, word. So we put it out on Duck Down Records, the same label as like Sean Price and Buckshot and all those guys from Brooklyn. So anyway, that album happened, and it came out in 2010. And I remember around that time, I had met this guy named Matt, who at the time was working at Universal Music Publishing. And when I met him, the first thing he said was, "Yo, that shit you did with Sky Zoo, fire. Like, that album is a classic." Like, he was just really just gave me props for it. And from there, we kind of kept in touch. I kept in touch with this guy, Matt. He was at Universal Music Publishing. I wasn't ready for like a big pub deal yet. It was just kind of like mutual friends, just in passing, met him. And then fast forward to 2013, or it might have been late 2012. I get a text from Matt, the same Matt. And he's like, "Yo, I need some beats. I don't work at Universal anymore. I'm actually working with Cole now. I'm one of J. Cole's A&Rs. He's working on a new album. Send me some beats." So that's what I did. I sent him a pack of beats. This was 2013. And like a month later, he hit me back and he was like, "Yo, hold this one." I forgot I think I named it The Park. I think it was named like The Park. And he was like, "Yo, hold the Park beat for me. Cole loves it. He wants to write to it." So I was like, "Bet." So then a couple months go by again, and I'm in LA for some random shit, and I get a text from Matt. And he's like, "Yo, where you at?" And I was like, "Oh shit, what's up, Matt?" I was like, "Yo, I'm in LA actually for like a couple weeks. What's up?" And he was like, "Yo, come to the studio. I'm with Cole. He just recorded to your song. We're over at an Airbnb. They had rented this like studio mansion in the Hollywood Hills. It was like, you walk in, there's like a pool house with like an outdoor studio. It was like lit." So I pulled up and I met Cole for the first time, and he was like, "Yo, Ill, like, huge fan. I love the shit you did with Mobb Deep and this." He was like naming some of my records. I was like, that's tight. So then he was like, "Yo, come listen to this." So he played me the intro, the first verse, and the hook to Love Yours. And I remember as I was listening to it, I was like getting super emotional. It was crazy because I was like, emotional about the song, and then I in real time realized that like I have a song with J. Cole, and then I'm like standing in front of him. I'm like, oh shit, I just met Cole. You know what I mean? So it was like all these different things happening at the same time. And I knew it would be a special song. So then after that, we were chopping it up, and then we ended up finishing the song, and then that was it. The rest was history. So, you know, if it wasn't for creating that album with Sky Zoo, I never would have met Matt, and that beat never would have got to Cole. You know what I mean? And I met Sky Zoo through Crisis and Ninth Wonder and Little Brother back in 2006.
Wow.
So everything
Shouts
matters.
out Ninth Wonder.
It's if that ain't a testament to everything that you do matters, I don't know what is. Literally everything that you've said here today and that story specifically, it just proves the point. Like,
Yeah.
oh, I don't want to do that. That's like, you know, nobody really knows that rapper. Nobody really knows that singer. Like, if that's the reason you're doing it, then I mean, your career's not gonna last that long. If it's just like, oh, I'm only gonna look out for the biggest people to do things with. We're not just doing it for the love of it. You like the artist. You know, it's crazy to see something like that, and the story behind that is wild, bro. Like,
It's wild. I mean, think about it. Like, and I'll tell you, I met when I heard about Sky Zoo. It was so this producer Crisis, who was part of that whole clique. So it was Little Brother, Ninth Wonder, you know, they're all from North Carolina, and then Crisis was a producer that was with them, and I would talk to him on chat, and randomly he hit me one day, and he was like, "Yo, I got this artist I've been working with from Brooklyn. His name's Sky Zoo. He's fire. He's dope. He needs beats." And I was like, "Yo, send me some of his music." So I heard his music. I was like, "Yo, Sky Zoo's crazy. Like, here, take him." Boom. I hit him with like 5-pack. I was like, "Yo, whatever he wants," you know? And it just felt right at the time. But what I realized now talking about it and looking back, I realized that, well, I didn't know that would lead to Love Yours. But what I did know at the time, and what I'm realizing now, is that Sky Zoo needed me at that time. He needed those beats. And so I'm going to get a little philosophical or religious real quick, but like, that's like God or the universe putting me in front of someone to be of service for somebody. And I listened to God in that moment, and I was like, take them. Here, take 5 beats, take 10 beats, take 100 beats.
Yeah, man, you were listening
for you. You know what I mean? Like, it's not about me. This is about me helping you. Like, let me be of service to you. And so years later, God was like, yo, remember that time you hooked up Sky Zoo and y'all did that album? Boom, here you go. Love Yours.
right?
And then from there, it became a song to help other people. You know? So it's like,
right.
it's like
Beautiful.
people think it's cliche when people say, oh, like, just help people. It's like, no, that's literally what life is. Like, the more people that you feel like you're of service to be there to help in that moment of service, and be there and really believe that the universe put you there to bless that person, those blessings are going to come back. You're not going to know how or when or with who, but trust, the universe might be late, but they're never wrong. You know what I'm saying?
Bro.
Real.
Crazy.
Real.
You're making me realize now, like, even in what just doing my little thing of teaching FL stuff, you know, I'm like,
Oh, bro.
like I'm like thinking about it now. The most that I've ever gotten out of music has been when I started teaching people FL stuff and production through FL Studio. Like, I've, you know, like, relationship wise, like, just social media wise, it's just been, I don't know, it's been crazy. As soon as I started helping people, not even realizing it and not doing it for that reason, but just doing it because I loved teaching other producers how to use FL. I just love it. I loved teaching people in the studio when I found a certain technique and when I was mixing for somebody, recording somebody.
And that kind of intention and that energy travels outward and comes back to you.
Yep.
Eventually. It's not up to us, like, how it comes back and what in what way it does, but it's kind of like this, you know, put out and receive back, you know, what you put out. So
And
that's a amazing thing to hear, man, for sure.
Thank you, man. And like, you know, when you start to realize that there's a higher energy involved in all of this, whether you believe it's God or the universe or fucking the moon or whatever it is you believe, right? There's a higher power that is helping to control and provide abundance for people. And when you realize that when you start to force yourself into telling God how to do his job, he won't do his job. Right? Okay, I'll give you an example. Me telling God to do his job is, yo, I'm gonna make this beat and Drake's gonna rap on it, and I'm gonna fucking do whatever it is, whatever I could do right now to fucking force the situation and get that beat to Drake. Now that shouldn't be confused with like ambition and shooting your shot and all that stuff. That stuff's fine. But the thing that people mess up, where they mess up, is they don't give the universe or God the opportunity to do it their way. You got to do it in the universe's way, because the universe knows exactly what it's doing to the team. You just got to give it time, right? So once you start to tell the universe what to do, the universe is gonna be like, "Yo, fuck you, bro."
Oh, you got it. Yeah, yeah. Make it happen. You got it.
Who's God? Am I God or are you God? Because if you know what you're doing, I'll step out and you could do it yourself, or you could do your thing and relax a little bit. I'm gonna hook you up. Don't worry. I won't tell you when or with
Patience.
who, but just let me work my magic, and I'm gonna bless you. You just have to chill. Just wait.
Patience.
Oh, yeah, I got you. That's like the homie. God's like the homie. He's like, yo, I got you. God, the big homie will give you whatever you want in this life. You just have to be patient and be of service. And like to your point, Larry, just be a good person and trust your instinct and don't fucking screw people over. And let God fucking handle the rest, bro.
100% right, bro.
That's it.
Real.
Well said, man.
In the midst of cursing every word. Fucking God. What the fuck? Sorry to all my very religious people. Sorry.
Everybody curses.
Yeah, okay.
Everybody. I had so we're getting towards the end, bro. I appreciate you coming on here. I wanted to do a few producer hot takes or music related hot takes. You down?
Let's go.
All right. Producer hot take. It's better to go viral than to go the traditional industry route, like working your way up the ladder versus going viral.
What do I say? True or false, or how do I
agree, disagree?
I disagree.
On the fence, maybe.
I disagree, because a viral moment is you forcing God.
There you go. Right back to that point.
The universe has no choice but to bless you back, because it's quick, but then it's gone. And then what are you gonna do?
And that also is as quick as it happens is as quick as it can go away.
Yeah, I would say as quick as it happens, as quick it will go away.
Yeah.
You know? Not to say that viral moments are bad, but I don't think people should chase viral moments. I think you should be an industry producer and do your thing and do all the things we talked about and let the viral thing happen. Like, going viral is not up to you. Going viral is up to the people.
Right.
Let the people do it. And if you go viral, cool. But, don't let it get the best of you if you do. You know what I mean?
Right.
Too many people are chasing a viral moment, viral video, viral song.
Yep. Keyword.
Like, see the glitz and the glamour.
Keyword chasing.
Chase. Yeah.
The more you chase, the more it runs away, bro.
Yep. I just saw you say that somewhere else too, man, and it stuck with me. And I've been, the more successful people that I run into and have conversations with, the more I hear that. The more you chase it, the more it just will not happen.
Yep.
It's
the law of opposites.
Yeah.
It's the law of opposites. When you chase something, you're making it very clear that you don't have it yet. Mm-hmm. And so if you make it very clear that you don't have it yet, you're never going to have it.
Right.
Get it? So it's like if you're chasing something you don't have. Right? And so the universe is like, yep, you're never going to have that because you don't have it. You keep telling me you don't have it.
Yep. And the intent is like in the wrong place, I feel like sometimes. It's all in the intent. Is it your intent to like go viral, chase this viral moment, or is it your intent to, in your case, help an artist that needs beats, that doesn't have beats, doesn't have access to beats, doesn't have access to your beats because they really love your sound? What's your intent? I feel like, So
Intention is everything, bro.
Yep.
You're absolutely right. What's the intention? And then also, letting whatever happens happen after that intention.
right.
It's just start and stop with the intention. Okay, cool. This is intended for this. We're done. Let's move on. Let's keep going. You know what I mean?
Yep. This is one that I hear, and I'm sure you hear a lot of it too. Hot take: the loop culture is killing originality.
I think that. Okay, I disagree. I'll tell you what's killing originality. It's two things. Number one, producers that are still finding their sound are getting big placements. So you're hearing music from people that are still finding their sound, which means they're not original. So that's reason number one. Reason number two is not enough of us producers are stepping out to invent new things because we want to get placements. So we think that we have to send, a certain type of beat for Playboi Carti, or a certain type of beat for Travis Scott, or a certain type of beat for Kendrick Lamar. It's like not enough of us are stepping out and taking risks on inventing a new sound. And I get it. It's risky. People might not like it. You're living on the edge. But all of those characteristics are how you become a pioneer. So it's like, do you want to be a pioneer, or do you just want to be a sheep that just keeps making the same shit? And unfortunately, most people choose sheep.
It's easy to be a sheep. It's more you feel more safe.
Yeah. And to that point too, I think there's just...
You're safe for 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 years, and then you're 65.
Yeah.
It's like, well, damn, this shit, the game's over. Not to say that it's over at 65, but, 85, it's definitely over.
And man, right? I hear that you're in
80. Once you hit 80, I think,
is somebody gonna be putting beats up on making type beats at 80?
80's crazy. You should.
80's crazy for real.
Go drink some milk, bro. Eat a banana. Just
true. Take it easy.
Watch a movie.
Prune juice.
Watch it. Yeah. Don't do this when you're 80, bro.
In your sound, bro, I hear going back to an earlier point of staying current, staying relevant. Your sound, your beats, your music always has a perfect mix of current but original and innovative sound, in my opinion. It's hard to do. How do you go about? Is it even a thought, or is it just something that you're doing? Like subconsciously, it happens, or are you saying, all right, I used like this kind of bass. This bass is like a bass or an 808 that everybody's using. Let me like use a different 808 or a different bass there, or a different synth or something like that along those lines.
Yeah, it's kind of a combination of both. It's like, I think producing is finding that delicate sweet spot of like being in flow and working off of your subconscious, but then also being present to know like, okay, I got to use a different bass sound, or I probably shouldn't use the fucking Spins 808 on this. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like just making those decisions in real time. So it's like kind of this little sweet spot in the middle where you're kind of in daydream land, but also you're very present and making decisions that can alter the sound of whatever it is you're making. So, but in general, I would say if it's a blur, then that's probably a good thing, because you mostly want to be on the subconscious flow state of things versus like being overly analytical. Let me use this Neptune snare to do 2000s R&B. It's like,
yeah,
cool,
rigid.
Yeah, like, all right, fuck, man.
Rigid type beat.
Rigid type beats, man. Damn, that sucks.
Oh man, with that, I mean, again, I can wrap it up here. I won't keep you too much longer. I really appreciate you taking the time out of your busy VP day.
No, I'm not. Listen, I'm just in my office with my feet up. I'm gonna go get my back rubbed and go to the spa.
There you go.
Spend all these billions.
Oh man, well, really, I really appreciate it, man. Like you said, a long time coming. Thank you so much for taking the time and spreading your knowledge and your gems for the producer community. Really appreciate it, bro. We got to do this again. Hopefully in person. One day we'll meet in person, chop it up.
We have to.
Yeah, man.
We have to.
So again, thank you. I really appreciate it. With that being said, please make sure you like, comment, subscribe, and as always, share this with a friend if you get me.
You get me.
Yeah. Let's go.